my dear lovely students in 4th primary. How are you? In Unit 1, we have learned how to read and write large numbers and how to compare different forms of these large numbers. In the previous lesson, we learned about the front-end estimation strategy. Can you remember? One of the students asked me about the difference. في حد عندي في الكلاس student سألني, Miss, what is the difference between the estimation strategy they have studied this year and the strategy of rounding. كان عايز يعرف ايه الفرق ما بين الاستيميشن والراوندing. Okay. طيب, you studied the rounding in primary 3. Can you remember? I will answer his question today. Welcome, my dear students. I am Miss Sarah. In our lesson today, we will learn how to apply different strategies for estimating and rounding large numbers. We will also learn which estimation or rounding strategy provides more accurate estimates. أنه فيهم بيعمل لي number more accurate. Let's start with access to explore the difference عشان نعرف الفرق ما بين estimation and rounding through an example about the population of Egypt. هنعرف example دلوقتي من خلال عدد سكان اللي في مصر, which changes almost every second. If we use the front-end estimation strategy with this number, can you read this number? Yes, it is 105,300,500. لو عملتها بطريقة front-end estimation, it will be 100 million. But if I round it, لو عملتها بالطريقة التانية rounding, it will be nearest to the million. هيطلع إيه؟ هيطلع 105 million. هو ده الفرق ما بين front-end estimation, it will be 100 million, while rounding it will be 105 million. To start answering the question received from the student, we will go to page 50 as you see here to write what we can remember about rounding. تعالوا بقى نفتكر ايه الراوندنج اللي خدناه في 3rd primary, or what we can deduce from the population example. I will ask you some questions to help you organize your thinking and remember what you have learned before. The first question, does rounding provide an estimate that is close to the number? Second question, how are the front-end estimation you studied in lesson 10 and the rounding strategy similar? Third question, what is the difference? إيه الفرق between the front-end estimation and the rounding strategy? إيه الفرق ما بين front-end estimation والrounding strategy? If you answer these questions one by one, you will be able to discover what rounding is. لو كلنا جاوبنا على الأسئلة دي هنعرف بالظبط إيه الrounding. You will have a minute to write your answer and we will complete our lesson after that. Surely, أنا متأكدة إن في منكم هيقولوا that you can use rounding if you need an answer close to the exact number. لو محتاجة answer قريب قوي للexact number هعمل rounding, but not an accurate answer. لو مش محتاجة accurate answer بالظبط. This is what we have done with the population of Egypt when we got 105 million. Also, you may have written that ممكن حد يكتب إن rounding is similar to front-end estimation. Why? Because both strategies, two strategies change the number, بيغيروا number to number close للoriginal number. Okay? Of course, rounding and estimation are different. طبعا rounding والestimation they are different. They are not the same. They are two different strategies. When we use rounding, we get a number that is closer to the correct answer than the number we get when we use front-end estimating. في فرق كبير ما بين الاثنين. After we have written what we learned in primary 3 about rounding and estimation, let's learn some strategies that will help us. هنتعلم بقى strategies مع بعض هتساعدنا ازاي نفهم الراوندنج. Now let's see on the board. Now let's see these examples. تعالوا بقى نحل مع بعض examples about the rounding. In this shape, as you see here, here's the number line. Yes. I can draw this line vertically or horizontally. ممكن أرسمه بالطول أو بالعرض as you wish. This line represents numbers from 0 to 10. Look, here's the 0 and here is the 10 as you see. Now, what do you think the number at the midpoint? مين شاطر يقول لي إيه number at the midpoint? Yes, midpoint يعني في النص. It will be what? Between 0 and 10? Yes, I will write 5. Okay, and you will know why now. Because this is halfway from 0 to 1. On the same line, where would we put 8? طب لو عايزة 8 هحطها فين؟ it will be closer to 0 or closer to 10. Who can tell me? Yes, of course, 8 will be closer to 10. Why? Because 8 is after 5. هي مش 8 بعد 5 يعني after 5 6 7 8 يعني ممكن ال 8 تبقى here. So 8 is closer to 10 or 0. Of course, 8 is closer to 10. Let's draw another number line and solve it all together. Okay, let's see another example. Here I have second one. I have number line starting from 4,000 to 5,000. Let's draw it. This time بقى I will draw the line like this. Okay? طيب, I will start with 4,000 ending with 5,000. Yes, as we did. Who can tell me the midpoint is? Yes, البوينت اللي في النص هتبقى ايه؟ Of course, between 4,000 and 5,000 is 4,500. Right? This is the midpoint. If I ask you to mark the point 4,675, let's write it. 4,675. It will be after the midpoint or before it? Yes, it will be after the point. هتبقى بعد midpoint. يعني for example it will be here 4,675. طيب مين شاطر يقول لي this number is closer to 4,000 ولا 5,000؟ Yes, of course. ما دام after the midpoint ما دام البوينت اللي هو طالبها بعد midpoint, so it will be closer to the 5,000 or the biggest number. Okay? So 4,675 closer to 5,000 as you see here. Okay? طيب, let's draw another number line. Here I have number line from 20,000 to 30,000. Let's draw it in the same way. Yes, from what? Yes, 20 to 30. As you see here, 20,000 to 30,000. Okay. طيب, if I ask you, what is the midpoint? Who can tell me the midpoint between 20 and 30 is 25,000. Right, 25,000. Now, if I ask you about the point 23,400, yes, 23,400. 23 is before the midpoint or after the midpoint? Yes, 23 is before the midpoint. يعني, for example, it can be here 23,500. So, is it closer to 20,000 or 30,000? As we said before, ما دام البوينت اللي هو طالبها before the midpoint, so it will be closer to the smallest number or 20,000. Now, let's see how can I solve this. Yes, he wants me to round using the midpoint strategy. Rounding using the midpoint strategy. So what should I do? Yes, as you see here, I have number line starting from 6,000 ending with 7,000. And which number he wants me to round it? Yes, as you see here, he wants me to round 6,700. So what should I do? Yes, first I will write the midpoint. Between 6,000 and 7,000, I have what? I have 6,500. Super, boys and girls. So he wants me to round 6,700. Where should I put 6,700? Before the midpoint or after the midpoint? Of course, 6,700 after the midpoint. For example, it can be here, right? And as I said, if the number after the midpoint, it will be closer to the biggest number, which is 7,000. That means 6,700 closer to 7,000. أقرب ل 7,000 عن 6,000. Okay? Let's move to example number 2. Now he wants me to round 9,340. The same way, what should I do? Yes, this is the number line starting from 9,000 ending with 10,000. So, what is the midpoint? Yes, of course, the midpoint is 9,500 اللي between the two numbers, right? طيب هو عايزني أعمل إيه؟ عايز أعمل rounding ل 9,340. طب هسأل نفسي هي 9,340 دي before the midpoint قبل the midpoint ولا بعد the midpoint? Yes, it is smaller than the midpoint. It will be, for example, here. يبقى before the midpoint قبل the midpoint, so it will be closer to the smallest number, which is 9,000. That means in a 9,340, rounding بتاعها or approximately equals to 9,000. You understand this very well? Okay. Now let's move to question number 3. Yes, this question will be very easy for you. You will do it by your own, by the same way. Now, have you realized now that it is very important to identify the midpoint? عرفنا أهمية midpoint إيه؟ If the number is above the midpoint, above يعني إيه تحتها, we round it up. Sorry, في above و below. If the number above يعني فوق midpoint, you will round it up. If it is under the midpoint, we will round it down. If the number is exactly at the midpoint, طب هنعمل ايه لو النمبر بالظبط عند الميدبوينت؟ هنعمل ايه؟ We will round it up or down. Who can tell me? Let's answer problem number 4 now all together. Here in this time, we will round the number to the nearest 100,000. 100,000. So we are asked to round what? Yes, as you see here, I want to round to 150,000. 250,000. To the nearest what? To the nearest 100,000. What should I do? I will draw a number line like you see. From what to what? Yes, I will start with 200,000 like this, and I will end with 300,000 as you see here. Then what should I do? Yes, I will write the midpoint. What is the midpoint between 200,000 and 300,000? Yes, exactly. It will be 250,000. Look, this is the same number I want to round it. So what should I do? Yes, the answer is that this number, or 250,000, will be the rounding of this number is closest to 300,000. So I will round it to the biggest number. يبقى 250,000 approximately equals to 300,000. Okay, يبقى عرفنا if the number جه بالظبط at the midpoint, I will round it up, okay, to the biggest number. Now we are asked to round. Let's move to number 5. Here's question number 5. He wants me to round this number, as you see here, 700,500. Okay. طيب, what should I do? To the nearest, you want me to round this number to the nearest 100,000. If you think the answer is 800,000, you will need to think again. It's wrong answer. This number doesn't represent الميدبوينت. طب تعالوا نشوف الكلام اللي أنا بقوله ده. هو عايزني أعمل rounding لإيه؟ ل 700,500. Right? What should I do? هكتب ال two numbers بتوعي. 700,000. Yes, 700,000 and 800,000. طيب, who can tell me the midpoint? Yes, between 700,000 و 800,000, I will find what? 750,000. طيب, هو this number 750,000? No, it is not the midpoint. فما نتلخبطش تقول على طول it's closer to 800,000. Wrong answer. So, the midpoint is 750,000. طيب, how can I round 700,500? Yes, we have learned that this number, I will round it if it is above or below. مين يقدر يقول لي this number is above the midpoint ولا below the midpoint؟ قبل الميدبوينت ولا بعد الميدبوينت؟ Of course, 700,500, it can be here, right? It is before the midpoint. So it is closer to 700,000. Okay? تاني 700,500 before أو قبل الميدبوينت, so it is closer to the smallest number, which is 700,000. Now we have learned to use the midpoint strategy in rounding. But this is the only method we have? No, I have another method which is called rounding. It's called rounding. No, so we have now two methods, the midpoint and the rounding strategy. Okay? Now you can find this rule and these steps on page 52 in your book. As you see here, this is the rounding rules. This is the rounding rules. طيب, listen back to the rounding rules. They are very interesting. Okay, it's like a poem. First thing, I will circle the digit. I will circle the digit. Then I will look next door. Okay, again, First of all, I will circle the digit. Then look next door. What should I make then? I will, if I find 5, so 5 or more, I will add 1 more. 4 or less, I will keep the number as it is. And remember, all the digits to the right become 0. يعني إيه الكلام ده؟ كل الكلام اللي أنا قلته هشرحه وإحنا بنعمل الإكزامبلز. بس you should know these steps. I will say it again. First of all, circle the digit. Look next door. If I find 5 or more, add 1 more. If I find 4 or less, I will keep the digit as it is. Let's have a look. Now, let's apply this rule on this example. Let's see. Type. Now, how can I apply the rule, the rounding rule on this number? Let's see. Here I have 4,675. 4,675. I want to round this number to the nearest thousand. Okay. I will round this number to the nearest thousand. Where's the thousandth? Yes. Remember, the rule is circle the digit, look next door. Where's the thousandth? Unit, tens, or ones, tens, 100,000. Circle the thousandth. Look next door. This is the next door. Is it 5 or more? Yes, it is more than 5. So add 1 more. And as we said, it is more than 5. I will add 1 more. So the 4 will be, yes, the 4 will be 5,000. Then all the digits will be zeros. All the digits will be zeros. So the rounding of 4,675 to the nearest thousandth is 5,000, as you see here. I hope you understand this very well. Let's complete with each other. Now I'll give you a minute to write the solutions, and we will review them together after you finish. Now let's round number 1. You want me to round the number to the nearest thousand. Same steps. I will circle the thousand first. This is 4,000. Look next door. Next door is 4. It is less than 5, so I will keep it as it is. So what should I do? I will write 2, 3 as it is, 4 as it is, and all the next digits will be zeros. So 234,432 approximately equals to 234,000 only. Let's move to another exercise, number 5. Here he wants me to round the numbers to the nearest million, yes. So first step, I will circle the million. Where's the million? Here is the million. 5 is the million. Circle it. Look next door. I have 3 less than 5, so I will keep the 5 as it is to be 5,000. 5 million. So 5,367,544 is approximately equals to 5 million. Okay. Now the last one, round the numbers to the nearest milliard. Number 7. Where's the milliard? 5 is the milliard. Look next door. 2 is less than 5, so I will keep the 5 as it is to be approximately equals 5 milliard, as you see here. Now we have learned 2 different rounding strategies, the midpoint strategy and the rounding rule. We know now that rounding strategies gives us an answer close أقرب حاجة للcorrect answer. Why? Because it uses the place value. In the previous lesson, we studied the front-end estimation strategy. In Connect, we will think about these 2 strategies and link وهنربط between them, as they give us an estimated solution or a solution rounded to the right one. In the problem before us, if you add the numbers 31 and 47, as you see, the correct solution is 78. And the estimation بتاعنا هيبقى 70. والrounded solution is 80. Can you think and express your thoughts and write the difference, الفرق ما بين rounding and estimation strategy? That is the strategy. What is the strategy that offers you a solution that is closer to the correct answer? I'll give you a minute to record your answers in your own way on page 53 in your school book. From all what we have learned about rounding, we are now aware of the importance. دلوقتي عارفين بقى أهمية ال place value in the rounding process. If we are asked to round 2360. Again, if you want me to round 2360 to the nearest thousand, our understanding and awareness of the place value of 1000 in the number 2000 will help us determine our answer. يا إما هيبقى 2000 or 3000. The answer is actually 2000 to the nearest thousand. At the end of our lesson, let's test our understanding of the strategies of rounding. We are going to solve the exercises of the lesson on page 54 in your book. Now let's do the practice all together. Page 54. Here's the practice. Okay, let's solve number 1 all together. Here, number 1, a plane's altitude increased by 2,721 meters. Round this number to the nearest thousand. Let's do it all together. So, what should I do? Yes, here you want me to use the midpoint strategy or rounding rule, which you will choose anything you want. Type to the nearest thousand, so I will circle the thousand. Look next door. Next door is 5 or more. Yes, it is more than 5. So what should I do? It will give it 1, or I will add 1 more. So 2000 will be 3000 and the rest will be zeros. So 2721 approximately equals to 3000 as you see here. Now I hope you understand this very well. وعلى فكرة ممكن نحلها بالsecond strategy, midpoint strategy. Now if you would like to solve more exercises, yes, and check your understanding, you can solve more problems about rounding if you scan the quick code at the beginning of the lesson or on the screen. You have now completed Unit 1 in our curriculum, where you learned about the place value of numbers and its importance وأهميتها, and how we can write large numbers in multiple forms بطرق مختلفة. دلوقتي نقدر نكتب very big numbers in multiple forms, included expanded form, standard form, and decomposed forms. We use the place value after that in comparison عشان نقارن of numbers, comparison of numbers, as well in estimation and rounding, which will help us in Unit 2 in our curriculum. It is very important not to forget that what helped us in the solution, اللي بيساعدنا في الحل إيه, is what we are thinking like mathematicians. And throughout the lessons, we use different strategies. دايما هتلاقينا بنستخدم strategies مختلفة, such as finding patterns and error analysis, in order to evaluate our understanding and increasing our skills. We should solve the tests and problems on concepts that are provided in textbook on the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. Don't forget. If you have any questions about any topic you have studied or suggestions for future lessons اللي جاية, send to us on our Facebook page مدرستنا. It was a pleasure being with you, 4th primary. I hope you enjoyed the lessons. We will meet again, God willing, with the first lesson of Unit 2. Prepare yourself and thank you so much.